In scent work trials, it's actually not uncommon for the judge to make their own score sheets. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how to DIY your own nose work score sheets using the best free software. Let's get after it. We're going to jump into the software. I'm going to be using Google Sheets, if you haven't guessed it already, to DIY our own K9 Scent Work performance sheet so we can track our practice, so we can practice like we're going to compete. Now, there's only a few elements that we need to make sure we actually annotate on this form, mainly focusing on whether or not we qualified, we didn't qualify, or we excused and we didn't complete training for that day. So there's a number of reasons why you wouldn't qualify or be disqualified, and the same for excusal, and we can get into those a little bit later. The other critical elements that we want to make sure we have on our sheet are the number of hides, and I'm critically focusing on K9 novice container searches, particularly interior. So with that, there's only going to be one hide, birch. Because in the very beginning stages, you're going to be using identical containers with birch as your element or your oil. So we'll have the number of hides and the number of fines. So that's going to be the actual execution or performance of your dog. So we have qualification, non-qualification, excusal, number of hides, actual fines. And then we actually have the time allotted for the competition. So in this case, when we're referring to K9 novice container searches for interior, we're talking about 2 minutes max allotted time for your dog to search the area. And then we'll have the actual time. So that's the performance time of your dog while you're going through as the handler. So allotted and actual, qualified, not qualified, excuse, number of hides, number of fines. The only other thing we're going to have on there is the number of faults. And the number of faults is something that you're going to tally as you go along. And then you can leave some annotations there for yourself a little bit later to figure out what are some of my problem areas, what are some of the trouble ticket areas that I need to work on in the future. So let's jump in and see how we can create something like this for free that we could keep for our records using something like Google Drive, Google Sheets, and that software, so we can just make this really easy for ourselves and track the progress of our dog. So I'm going to show you how I would do it, and I'll leave a link in the description so you can have some resources if you want to save some time and just go ahead and download the document for yourself. I'm just going to jump in here and change it from Untitled Sheet to our K9 Scent Work Score Sheet. Score sheet. That's what we're making here. All right, and we're going to just put some basic admin information there, so when we're filing, or maybe we have multiple dogs that we're handling, we can go through this very easily. All right, so let's just do name, something typical, maybe breed, so we can track. Maybe there's a performance difference in certain our dogs, or we just want to keep track. And then we'll also go ahead and input the date, because that's going to definitely help us in chronological order, particularly as we do these training sessions, hopefully within 15-20 minute bursts, giving your dogs freaking breaks when you're working on these things. Even in the classroom and environment, there's downtime while the instructor is doing instruction, so you're not training continually, even if your class is, say, an hour. There's some time spent handling the dog, there's some time spent instructing the human in particular, so it's not just continuous. And then you want to just do iterative training and just mix it up and keep it fun. All right, so name, breed, date, and we'll go ahead and put the element. And in this case, since I'm focusing on K9 Novice Scent Work, we're gonna you can input that for yourself. It's just gonna be birch. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and skip down a line, and then let's just put in some of those required elements that we know we need to record every time we train. So the time allowed. You can input that for yourself because it's never going to change for this level. It's going to be 2 minutes. 2 minutes is the max allotted time for the container search for that introductory level search for the hide, which is birch, when you're starting out. Okay, so we'll do time allowed, and we'll do number of hides. So it's just going to be 1, again, introductory level. So we can just go ahead and input 1 if you like, and then we'll do number of fines. This will change. Well, if they find it, then it'll be 1, and if they don't, it's going to be binary, so it'll be 0. But as you go along and you move and you progress through, maybe it's birch and anise, in which case maybe they find the birch, they don't find the anise, they find the anise, they don't find the birch. You can obviously adjust accordingly. The other thing you want to do, as I mentioned, you want to count the number of faults. Number of faults. Now, there's a number of faults that can happen in a competition, and we'll jump into that a little bit later. Next, we'll just skip down here a little bit. Now we're going to just annotate, just briefly, handler faults. So we'll just say handler error. Perhaps it's a safety concern. Ooh, safety concern. Or a mild disruption of the training area. And we'll get into that a little bit. What does that exactly mean, a mild disruption of the training area? But for now, let's just put it down so we make sure we have everything that we need, and we'll clean it up here and make it look real pretty. Okay, again, like what I talked about, I said we need qualification. Did we qualify or did we not? So we'll just do qualified, not qualified, and excused. I'm gonna just keep my capitalization here consistent. Okay, and we'll leave a little spot for ourselves to write some notes to ourselves, and we'll leave a spot at the bottom here for search time. Okay, I'm gonna go back up here and just insert our title. So just so it's on here, K9 Scent Work score sheet, and we'll go ahead and clean that up. So we'll just move that over right there, and we'll go ahead and make these bold. Yeah, we'll make all of these bold. And then since these are types, I'm just gonna go ahead and italicize those. And I'm good with that. So for these, we're going to make these just a little bit bigger because we're going to leave ourselves some space to annotate what that might have been. And I'll give you some examples here. Clean it up, format that, center those. Ooh, okay. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I'm liking the way it's looking here. We'll make that bold, and then we'll just make that a little bit bigger. So we have our title nice and big. By the way, if you enjoy the content we put out on this channel, now's a great time to smash that like button. And when you're done with this video, head over to the website and check out the blog post to accompany this post as well. Okay, back to the video. So just real quick, let's talk a little bit about handler error. So one error is basically not paying attention to your dog. So you need to realize when your dog is in the yes zone or the scent cone or whatever you want to call it. But if you, the handler, pull your dog away and you don't know when the dog is actually in the zone, that's a handler error, because we always want to positively reinforce the dog. So anything that the handler is doing to obviously ultimately in the long run discourage the proper behavior that we're looking for in scent detection, that's going to be an error. Another really obvious error is going to be any type of rough handling by the handler. I mean, I don't really foresee anybody doing that with their own dog, but who knows, maybe in the heat of the moment, frustration, I don't know, but that's going to be handler error, so don't do that. Another handler error, which is not really going to apply in the very, very beginning stages when there's only one hide, is if you were to call an alert, like say, hey, I found it on something that you already found, that's going to be an error as well. Now, that doesn't really count if the dog finds the same thing again and alerts and it's correct or whatever, but you, the handler, don't want to call alert to the judge, i.e. indicating that you found the scent again. So that's going to be an error. So no repeat alerts. Another really obvious one is don't start before you're told. I mean, just follow the instructions, follow directions. Don't pass the start line and think you know better than the judge. Just wait until your turn to initiate the actual search, because this is a timed event. So we need to make sure everybody's starting on cue. Another one that's kind of discretionary is if a dog plays with a distraction for greater than 5 seconds. 3 to 5 seconds, they're going to be looking and seeing. If you actually have to physically move the dog away from the distraction, they're just so out of it, they stop working, they're not really going through the course anymore, that is going to be a handler error. And then there's always the catch-all, like anything else that the judge decides is an error is going to be an error. So talk to the judge on site. But those are the main things you need to be cognizant of. Some, I think, really don't apply. There shouldn't be any multiple alerts in the very beginning because there's only one hide in the very, very beginning. The other one, you shouldn't be rough handling your dog or out of frustration or whatnot. This is performance dog sports, so you need to be in sync, help your dog gain that confidence. All right, let's talk some other notes we can put in here with regard to the errors so we know what we're annotating. Safety is like it sounds. That one's pretty obvious. All right, anything that's going to cause a danger to the dog or a potential accident or something like that. So when we're doing these searches, we want to make sure that the hides themselves are in a stable location. So if you're putting the dog in an unstable situation, that's going to be handler error. If you're trying to reach somewhere and it's really out of the reach of the dog and it's too high, that's going to be handler error. Then the other thing is, I mean, if there is a boundary and it's supposed to be an off-leash search, then that's fine. But if your dog is off-leash in the area and they're not supposed to be in that particular search area, then that's also going to be an error as well. So basically, anything unsafe, anything that's going to cause harm to you or the dog, that's going to end up being an error to just keep the event safe for everybody. All right, let's talk a little bit about what we mean by mild disruptions of the searching area. This is not something so egregious that's going to warrant, hey, you got to to go. It's something smaller, like maybe you're dragging the leash around and it's messing up the configuration of the boxes in the search area. Maybe your dog's attempting to scratch or paw at the boxes and moving them all out of the configuration. Perhaps it's you dropping food in the area, and even if you picked it up, it's kind of now it's like a distraction. It's something else that we have to clean up. So anything that might cause mild contamination to the search area, that's something that we have to call a fault for. That's an error. Let's see some other simple examples. Maybe possibly like just touching something you're not supposed to touch. Basically just follow all directions, take all commands from the tower, and you'll be good. All right, now that we kind of know what the faults are, you can basically make a note to yourself on your page here, just electronic if you're going to keep this digital, and just remind yourself maybe before you go out in the training, what are the types of errors, what are the type of faults, safety, okay, don't make the dog go to anything that's too high or unstable, okay, something that might cause an accident, maybe just keep things safe, okay, follow all instructions, don't disrupt the training area, make sure that the dog is staying on task, and you want to continue to build that drive and positive association so they don't get distracted so easily, and they just really want to find that hide. So you can do that. I mean, that's really simple. Hey, just right click here, insert note, and then maybe you just want to say watch heights, no accidents, something like that. Whatever you want to put to yourself. And then that way when you hover over it, you just remind yourself, okay, what does that actually mean? Mild disruption of the training area. Maybe you want to leave yourself a few examples of what that might mean. Don't drag the leash, for instance. You could also remind yourself to don't drop the food or the treat, whatever you want to put there. It just goes on and on and on. So for instance, you could put watch contamination. Basically, you don't want any cross-contamination. You don't want to do anything that's going to cause them to have to either sanitize the course with odor hygiene or have to disrupt the training for everybody else. So you want to make sure that you're being cognizant of those things as well. And the list goes on and on. Pretty much the same things I explained. You can just input those data points there to just to remind yourself. One filled out maybe would be, let's say, Disney. And he is a German Shepherd dog. And let's just say he did this on 5 August 20. And the search element was Birch. He's allowed 2 minutes. Let's just say the number of hides was 1, and the number of fines was 1, and the number of faults, let's just say I had 1 fault. And let's just say it wasn't safety. So we'll just tell ourselves no issues. Handler error, we'll say no issues, just to ourselves. But maybe there was a mild disruption of the training area. Maybe I'll say dropped a treat but picked it up. Something like that. Right? Just something that might actually happen. You're trying to treat your dog, encouraging them. They found it. That's great. But I dropped the treat. So I'll notice that. So that's something that I can work on as the handler. Qualification. So just going through all those things, I can just tell myself I was qualified. All right. Great. And let's just say, just arbitrarily, he did the search in 1:34. Okay. And any notes to ourselves. You could say maybe slightly distracted at times, but not enough for not qualified, whatever, however you want to do it, but just any notes that you want to remember in your performance training. And obviously this is digital, so you can just save this as a template, and then just when you get ready to start your training again, you can use it, pull it out, and see how you're doing as you progress along. You can always save this electronically or use another app like PubToDate to log your training so you can have that on the go. So I hope this training helped out a little bit. It was something that I was very curious about, and so I was going through the AKC regulations and everything, and I was like, hey, what are the things that I really need to know? What really needs to be logged? And I like to do deliberate practice. So I want to know what are the things I need to be tracking. That way when you go out, you're training, you're not training blindly, you're training with a deliberate plan in mind, so that when it's time to execute and really get out there for game day, you're ready to go. Hey, if you got value out of this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up so the YouTube algorithm knows it's good and shares it with a broader audience. Also, make sure when you're done with this video, head over to the website and check out the blog post as well. It's an easy way to support the channel. Don't forget, podcast Dogs for People 2 is launching September 2nd. Thanks so much for tuning into the channel. As always, more new pet content coming soon, and we will see you in the next video.